A rival boss made a mistake. He took Bumpy's partner. Thought it would break him. Thought wrong. 3 days passed in silence. Then the boss woke up to find his family gone. Not killed. Gone. And that's when he understood who Bumpy Johnson really was. It happens on a Tuesday, not during a card game, not in a shootout, not in some dark alley where these things are supposed to happen. Midday, Lenox Avenue, sun high. People shopping. Bumpy's partner, a man named Archie Monroe, steps out of a barbershop. Clean shave, new trim. He's smiling, talking to the barber through the open door. Something about a horse running at Belmont. 3 cars pull up. Not screeching. Not fast. Smooth. Deliberate. Bronx plates. 6 men step out. They don't draw guns. They don't shout. They walk up to Archie like they're old friends. One of them puts a hand on his shoulder. Another opens the back door of the middle car. Archie looks around. The street is full of people. Witnesses. Harlem witnesses. But no one moves. Because the men aren't hiding. They want to be seen. This isn't a quiet grab. This is a statement. Archie doesn't resist. He's been in the life long enough to know if they wanted him dead, he'd already be dead. So he gets in the car. The door closes. The 3 cars pull away, calm, unhurried, and Lenox Avenue stays frozen for a full 10 seconds before anyone speaks. The barber is the first one to move. He closes his shop, locks the door, walks 4 blocks to a payphone, dials a number he's had memorized for years. It's me. They took Archie, Bronx crew, maybe 10 minutes ago. Silence on the other end. Then, where's Bumpy? Home, I think. Told him. The barber hangs up. He doesn't go himself. He sends his nephew, a skinny kid, 15, fast on his feet. The kid runs. Bumpy Johnson is sitting in his apartment when the boy arrives. 3rd floor. Windows facing the street. He's reading the newspaper. Coffee on the table. No bodyguards in the room. He doesn't need them here. The boy knocks. Bumpy's wife, Mamie, answers. She sees the kid's face and knows immediately. Bumpy, she says quietly. He looks up. She steps aside. The boy enters, chest heaving, words tumbling out. Mr. Johnson, they took Archie. Bronx men. 3 cars, right off Lenox, in front of everybody. Bumpy sets the newspaper down. Slowly, he folds it, creases it with his thumb. In front of everybody, he repeats. Yes, sir. They wanted to be seen. Yes, sir. Bumpy nods. He stands. Walks to the window. Looks down at the street. People moving, talking, pretending normalcy. But he can see it, the tension. The way they glance over their shoulders. The way they walk a little faster. Fear. Not of him. For him. May stands behind him. She doesn't ask if he's okay. She knows better. What do you need, she asks. She asks. Time, he says. Within an hour, every major player in Harlem knows. The policy bankers. The numbers runners. The club owners. The old Italian crews who respect boundaries. And they all expect the same thing. War. Archie Monroe isn't just Bumpy's partner. He's been with him since the 30s. Since the fights with Dutch Schultz. Since Stephanie St. Clair handed Bumpy the keys to the kingdom. Archie is family. You take family, you get blood. That's the rule. So they wait for Bumpy to call the meeting. To gather the soldiers. To send word to the Bronx that Harlem is coming. But the call never comes. By evening, 3 of Bumpy's captains show up at his door. They don't wait for an invitation. They come in, hats in hand, faces tight with anger. Bumpy, we got 30 men ready. Just say the word. Bumpy is still by the window. He hasn't moved in hours. No, he says. The captains look at each other. They took Archie. I know. In broad daylight, I know. If we don't move now, they'll think. I know what they'll think. Bumpy turns. His face is calm. Not cold. Not angry. Calm. And that stops them. You think I don't care about Archie? Bumpy asks. No, we just. You think I'm afraid. No, Bumpy. We. Then trust me. Silence. One of the captains, older, grey-haired, been in the game longer than most, steps forward. What's the play? Bumpy looks at him. Really looks at him. Bumpy says. Patience. They want me angry. They want me reckless. They want me to come charging into the Bronx so they can cut me down and say Bumpy Johnson got sloppy, got emotional. He walks to the table, sits, picks up his coffee. It's cold now. He drinks it anyway. But I'm not going to give them that. Then what are you going to do? Bumpy sets the cup down. I'm going to let them think they won. That night, Harlem feels wrong. No retaliation. No cars heading north. No guns passed in alleys. Just quiet. People talk in whispers. In barbershops. In church basements. They say maybe Bumpy's getting old. Maybe he's lost his edge. Maybe the Bronx boss, name's Vincent Corso, runs numbers and protection up near Fordham Road. Maybe he's the new power, but the old-timers, the ones who've seen Bumpy move before, they don't say much. They just watch, and they remember. Bumpy Johnson doesn't move fast. He moves final. Day 2. Archie Monroe is still gone. Bumpy Johnson still hasn't moved. The streets feel it now. The weight of waiting. It's in the way people stand on corners, arms crossed, eyes darting. It's in the way conversations stop when strangers pass. It's in the empty seats at the back of the Cotton Club, where Bumpy's people usually sit. Harlem is holding its breath. Morning comes, and the captains return. Not all of them this time, just 2. The older one, Samuel Sam Wright, and a younger lieutenant named Danny Price. Danny's got fire in him. Sam's got scars. They find Bumpy at his usual spot. Small diner on 135th, corner booth, back to the wall, eggs and toast, coffee, black. He's reading the sports page. They sit without asking. Bumpy, Sam says quietly. People are talking. Bumpy doesn't look up. Let them talk. They're saying you're stalling. Good. Danny leans forward. He's 26, hungry, loyal, but young. They're saying you're scared. Now Bumpy looks up. Not angry, just present. Danny swallows, realizes what he just said. I don't mean, I know you're not, I just mean that's what they're saying. On the street, Bumpy sets the paper down, folds it, takes a sip of coffee. Who's they? He asks. Danny hesitates. Sam answers, the young runners, some of the newer guys, people who don't know you like we do. Bumpy nods slowly. And what do you tell them? I tell them to shut their mouths and wait. Good. Bumpy picks up his fork, cuts into his eggs. Then that's what they'll do. Danny can't help himself. But Bumpy, how long? Archie's been gone a day and a half. What if Corso isn't going to hurt him? How do you know? Bumpy chews, swallows, looks at Danny with something close to patience. Because if Corso wanted Archie dead, he'd be dead. He took him alive for a reason. He wants leverage. He wants me to come to him, hat in hand, begging. Or he wants me to come in guns blazing so he can say I started a war. So what do? We wait. Danny sits back, frustrated. Sam puts a hand on his shoulder. A warning. Don't push. Bumpy looks at both of them. You think I'm calm because I don't care, Bumpy says. You're wrong. I'm calm because I don't care too much. Archie's my brother. Has been for 20 years. And I'm not going to let anger make me stupid. He stands. Drops a few bills on the table. Corso made his move. Now he's waiting for mine, so I'm going to let him wait. Let him wonder. Let him get comfortable. And then, Bumpy puts on his hat, and then he'll understand what a mistake feels like. He walks out. Sam and Danny sit there for a moment, staring at the empty seat. You believe him? Danny asks. Sam nods. I've seen him do this before. Back in 38, when the Italians thought they could push him out. He waited 2 weeks. Didn't say a word. Then one night, every one of their policy banks got hit at the same time. Clean. No blood. Just money gone. They came to him the next day, asking for terms. Danny exhales. 2 weeks? We don't have 2 weeks this time, Sam says. But we don't need it. Bumpy's already moving. We just can't see it yet. That afternoon, something strange happens. A car pulls up outside Corso's main spot in the Bronx, a social club on Arthur Avenue. 2 men get out. Harlem men. Everyone recognizes them. They walk inside. No guns drawn. No threats. They ask to speak to Corso. Corso's people pat them down. Clean. No weapons. They're brought to a back room, Corso sitting at a table playing cards with 3 of his top guys. He doesn't stand, doesn't even look up. "You got a message from Bumpy?" he asks. The first Harlem man, tall scar over his left eye, shakes his head. No message. Corso finally looks up. "Then why are you here?" "We came to see Archie." Corso smiles. Slow, mean. "You came to check if he's alive." "We came to bring him a meal." From his wife. The room goes quiet. One of Corso's guys laughs. "You serious?" The Harlem man pulls a small paper bag from his coat. Slowly. No sudden moves. "Chicken. Cornbread. Sweet tea. His wife made it this morning. She asked us to bring it." Corso stares at him, trying to figure out the angle. There isn't one. He takes the bag. Opens it. Smells it. Real food. Still warm. "That's it?" Corso asks. No threat, no demand, no SAR. Bumpy didn't send word. No SAR. Corso leans back. He doesn't like this. It feels wrong. But he can't figure out how. "Fine," he says. "I'll give it to him. Now, get out." The 2 men nod. Turn. Walk out. Corso watches them go. One of his guys leans in. "Boss, what the hell was that?" Corso doesn't answer. He's staring at the bag of food, because he just realized something. Bumpy Johnson knows where Archie is, and he's not coming to get him. He's making Corso wait. By nightfall, the story spreads. Not in the Bronx. In Harlem, Bumpy sent food to Archie. Didn't send guns. Didn't send threats. Just food. And somehow that's more terrifying, because it means Bumpy's not desperate. He's patient. The young runners stop talking. The whispers fade. People start to remember who they're dealing with. Sam Wright sits in a bar on 8th Avenue. A man next to him, a policy runner, been in the game 15 years, leans over. "You think Bumpy's got a plan?" Sam sips his drink. Smiles. "Bumpy always has a plan." "Then why hasn't he told us?" Sam sets his blast down. "Because we're not the ones who need to know." That night, Bumpy sits in his apartment. May is asleep. The city hums outside his window. He's not reading, not drinking, just sitting. Thinking. Archie is safe. Bumpy knows that now. Corso's keeping him comfortable. Probably even feeding him the chicken his wife sent. Good, because in 48 hours, Vincent Corso is going to learn a lesson. Not about violence. About control. Bumpy doesn't need to kill Corso's men. He needs to take what Corso loves and then give it back. Because fear isn't about what you do, it's about what you could do and never have to. Vincent Corso wakes up on day 3 feeling like a king. His bedroom overlooks Pelham Parkway. Big house. Brick. 4 bedrooms. Bought it cash in 1947. His wife Angela's still asleep beside him. Downstairs, his kids are probably fighting over the last of the orange juice. Normal life. Power and domesticity. He built this. Corso sits up, stretches, looks out the window at the quiet street, trees, sidewalks, neighbors who nod and smile and never ask questions. He smiles. Bumpy Johnson still hasn't made a move. 72 hours, 3 full days, and nothing. Corso goes downstairs in his robe. His daughter Maria, 16, dark curls, her mother's eyes, is at the table doing homework. His 2 sons, Vincent Jr. and Tommy, 12 and 9, are wrestling in the hallway. "Boys," he says, not loud, just firm. They stop immediately. "Stand up straight." "Sorry, Pop." He nods. Walks into the kitchen. Angela's at the stove. Eggs. Bacon. The smell fills the house. She looks over her shoulder. Coffee's ready. He pours himself a cup. Kisses her cheek. "You sleep okay?" she asks. Like a baby. She studies his face. She's been with him 18 years. She knows when he's working. Knows when something's happening. "Vincent." "It's fine," he says. "Everything's fine." She wants to believe him. So she does. Corso gets dressed. Suit. Grey. Sharp. He checks himself in the mirror. Straightens his tie. Today he's meeting with his captains. Going to talk expansion. Harlem's been Bumpy's for too long. The numbers game. The policy rackets. The clubs. All of it is money, and Corso wants his share. The kidnapping was step one. Show Bumpy's vulnerable. Show Harlem that Bumpy's not untouchable. And it worked. 3 days. No response. No retaliation. Which means Bumpy's either weak, or he's thinking about terms. Either way, Corso wins. He drives to the social club on Arthur Avenue. His guys are already there. 8 of them. Captains and enforcers, men who've been with him since he took over from the old boss 5 years ago. They stand when he walks in. Corso waves them down. Sit. Relax. They sit. But they're not relaxed. They're wired, excited. One of them poorly, stocky, scar on his neck, grins. Boss, you hear anything from Harlem? Corso shakes his head. Nothing. 3 days, another one says. That's a long time to go quiet. That's because he's got nothing to say, Corso replies. He sits at the head of the table. Lights a cigarette. Bumpy Johnson's an old man. He had his time, ran Harlem like a king for 20 years. But kings get old. They get slow. Paulie laughs. You think he's scared? Corso shrugs. I think he knows he can't win, so he's deciding how to lose. The room likes that. They nod. They smile. Corso leans back. We hold Monroe for another day, maybe 2. Let Bumpy sweat. Then we make contact. We tell him, you want your boy back. You give us 3 blocks. 125th to 128th. We run numbers there. Split the take 60-40, our favour. And if he says no? Corso taps ash into a tray. He won't. He's got no leverage. He's got no move. He'll take the deal because it's the only deal he's got. One of the younger guys, Frankie, mid-20s, eager, speaks up. Boss, what if he tries something? What if he's planning a hit? Corso looks at him. Not angry, almost amused. With what? He hasn't moved a single soldier. Hasn't sent a single car north. We've had eyes on every route out of Harlem for 3 days. Nothing. 0. Maybe he's moving quiet. Bumpy Johnson doesn't move quiet, Corso says. When Bumpy moves, everybody knows. That's his style. That's how he stayed on top. Fear. Reputation. But fear only works if you use it. And he hasn't. The room nods. They believe him. Because it makes sense. That afternoon, Corso goes home for lunch. It's his routine. No matter what's happening in the streets, he eats with his family. Angela's made pasta. Homemade. The kids are loud and laughing. Maria's telling a story about a boy at school. Tommy's making faces. Vincent Jr. is pretending to be too mature for all of it. Corso watches them. Feels something close to peace. This is what it's all about. The money, the power. It's not for him, it's for them. So they never have to want. So they never have to be afraid. Angela catches him staring. What? He shakes his head. Nothing, just grateful. She smiles. Reaches over. Squeezes his hand. After lunch, Corso drives back to the club. He's halfway there when his car phone rings. New technology. Expensive. But worth it. He picks up. Yeah, boss, it's Paulie. What's up? Monroe's asking to make a phone call. Corso pauses. To who? His wife. Says he wants to let her know he's okay. Corso thinks about it. It's day 3. The guy's been cooperative. No trouble. Eats what they give him. Stays quiet. Fine, Corso says. Let him call, but keep it short. 2 minutes. And listen to every word. Got it. Corso hangs up. Smiles to himself. Even Monroe's accepted the situation. Probably figures Bumpy's going to cut a deal. Smart man. By evening, Corso's at a restaurant in Little Italy. His favourite spot. He's meeting with an old Italian crew, guys who've been in the game since Prohibition. They respect borders. They respect power. And right now they're respecting Corso. One of them old man named Sal. White hair. Pinky ring. Lions across the table. Vincent, I gotta ask. You're not worried about Bumpy? Corso cuts into his steak. Why would I be? Because he's Bumpy Johnson. He was Bumpy Johnson, Corso corrects. Past tense. Sal tilts his head. I've known Bumpy a long time, since he was running with Madame St. Clair. And I'll tell you something, when Bumpy goes quiet, that's when you should worry. Corso chews, swallows, wipes his mouth. Sal, I respect you. I do. But this isn't 1935, things have changed. Bumpy's a relic, and relics belong in museums. Sal sits back, doesn't argue, just nods. But there's something in his eyes. Sal sits back, doesn't argue, just nods. But there's something in his eyes, a warning. Corso doesn't see it. That night, Corso goes home. The house is quiet. Angela and the kids are upstairs. He pours himself a scotch, sits in his study, looks at the map of New York on his wall. Harlem's circled in red. Soon, parts of it will be his. He drinks, lets the warmth settle in his chest. 3 days. No response. He won. He's sure of it, but across town, in a small apartment in Harlem, 2 men sit at a kitchen table. One of them is making a phone call. The other is looking at a photograph. It's a family portrait. Vincent Corso, his wife, his 3 kids, smiling. The man with the phone speaks quietly, calmly. Yeah, tomorrow morning. Early. Before the kids leave for school. He listens. No. No violence. Just quiet. Clean. Like we talked about. He hangs up. The other man looks up. Bumpy sure about this? The first man nods. Bumpy's always sure. Vincent Corso falls asleep that night with a smile on his face. He dreams of power, of expansion, of a future where his name means as much as Bumpy Johnson's ever did. He doesn't know it yet, but when he wakes up tomorrow, his world will be different, not destroyed, just empty, and that's when the fear will start. Vincent Corso wakes up at 6:47 a.m. The sun's not fully up yet. Grey light filters through the curtains. The house is quiet in that early morning way still, but not silent. The hum of the refrigerator downstairs, a car passing on the street. He reaches over. Angela's side of the bed is empty. Not unusual. She's an early riser, probably downstairs making coffee, getting breakfast started before the kids wake up. Corso sits up, rubs his face, yawns. He feels good, rested. Today's the day he makes contact with Bumpy, sets the terms, moves forward. He stands, pulls on his robe, walks to the bathroom, washes his face, looks at himself in the mirror, still strong, still sharp, still in control. He goes downstairs. The kitchen light is off. That's the first thing that feels wrong. Angela always has the kitchen light on. Always. She says it makes the house feel awake. But it's dark. Corso stops at the bottom of the stairs. Angela? No answer. He walks into the kitchen, flips the light switch. Empty. No coffee brewing. No breakfast started. The stove is cold. Angela? Louder now. Still nothing. Corso's chest tightens. He tells himself it's nothing. Maybe she went to the store, needed milk or eggs. Maybe she couldn't sleep and went for a walk. But Angela doesn't walk in the morning, and she never leaves without telling him. He moves through the house. Living room, empty. Dining room, empty. Dining room, empty. He goes back upstairs. Maria, Vincent, Tommy. He opens Maria's door. Her bed is made, perfectly made, like no one slept in it. He opens the boys' room. Same thing. Bed's made. Clothes put away, toys lined up on the shelf. Too neat. Too perfect. Corso's heart starts to pound. He goes to his bedroom, opens Angela's closet. Her clothes are still there. Her shoes, her jewelry box on the dresser, untouched. He checks the boys' drawers. Their school clothes. Their jackets. Everything's still there. Nothing's missing. Except them. Corso runs downstairs, checks the front door locked from the inside. Back door, same. Windows all closed, no signs of forced entry, no broken glass, no scratches on the locks, nothing. It's like they just vanished. He stands in the middle of the living room, breathing hard, mind racing. Maybe they're outside. Maybe they all went out together for some reason. Early morning errand. He goes to the front window, looks out at the driveway. Angela's car is still there. So is his. No one left. But no one's here. Corso's hands are shaking now. He goes to the phone. Dials his sister's number. She lives 10 minutes away. Angela sometimes takes the kids there. The phone rings. 4 times. 5. His sister picks up. Groggy. Hello? Rosa, it's Vincent. Is Angela there? What? No. Why would she be here? It's 7 in the morning. What about the kids? Vincent, what's going on? He hangs up. Dials another number. Angela's mother. Same thing. No answer at first, then confusion. Vincent, what's wrong? Have you seen Angela or the kids? No, not since Sunday. What happened? He hangs up again. He hangs up again. His mind is spinning. He's trying to think logically, trying to stay calm, but the fear is creeping in now, cold and heavy. He walks back into the kitchen. That's when he sees it. A piece of paper on the kitchen table, white, plain, folded once. He didn't notice it before. It was under the salt shaker. Corso walks over, picks it up. His hands are trembling. He unfolds it. The handwriting is neat, printed, not cursive. It says, "Now you understand what it means to wait." That's all. No signature, no threat, no demand, just that one line. Corso reads it again, and then it hits him. Bumpy. The paper slips from his hands, flutters to the floor. Corso staggers backward. His legs hit a chair. He sits down hard. His family is gone. Bumpy took them. Not killed them. Took them. Took them the same way Corso took Archie Monroe, but cleaner, quieter, from inside his own house, without a single sign of struggle. Corso's breathing fast now, shallow. His vision tunnels. How did they get in? How did they take 4 people, his wife, 3 kids, out of a locked house without waking him? Without leaving a trace? His mind goes to the worst places. Are they hurt? Are they scared? Are they even still? No. No, they're alive. Because if Bumpy wanted them dead, he'd have left bodies. This is something else. This is a message. Corso sits there for 10 minutes, maybe 20. Time blurs. Then he stands, walks to the phone. His hand hovers over it. He knows what he has to do. He dials a number he got 3 days ago. A Harlem number, direct line to someone close to Bumpy. It rings twice. A man answers. Calm, like he was expecting the call. Yeah. Corso's voice cracks. I need to talk to Bumpy. Who's this? You know who this is. Silence on the other end. Then, hold on. Corso waits. Every second feels like an hour. Finally, another voice comes on the line. Deeper. Steady. Bumpy Johnson. Corso. Just his name. That's all Bumpy says. Corso's throat is dry. Where are they? Safe. I swear to God, Bumpy, if you hurt them, I'm not going to hurt them, Bumpy says. His voice is so calm it's almost gentle. They're having breakfast right now. Pancakes. Your daughter asked for orange juice. Your boys are playing checkers. Corso closes his eyes. Relief and rage twist together in his chest. Why? He whispers. You know why. I didn't hurt Monroe. No, you didn't. Because you're not stupid, you wanted leverage. So do you. No, Bumpy says. I don't need leverage. I just needed you to understand something. What? That power isn't about what you take. It's about what you could take, and choose not to. Corso's jaw tightens. What do you want? I want to meet. Neutral ground. Today, noon. And then you'll give them back? We'll make an exchange. Corso's heart pounds. Where? Bumpy gives him an address. A warehouse in Queens. Neutral territory. No one's turf. Come alone, Bumpy says. No guns. No crew. How do I know you won't? Because I'm not you. Because I'm not you, Bumpy says quietly. I don't take families. I just borrow them. To make a point. The line goes dead. Corso stands there with the phone in his hand. His legs feel weak. His chest aches. He looks around his house. The house he bought with blood money and ambition. The house where his kids grew up. Where he thought they were safe. And Bumpy Johnson walked right in. took them, and left a note. Corso calls Paulie, tells him what happened. Paulie's voice goes tight. Boss, we gotta hit them, we gotta. No. But they took your family, I know what they took. Corso shouts, then softer. I know. So what do we do? Corso exhales. We do what he says. You're gonna meet him. Yeah. Boss, it could be a trap. It's not a trap, Corso says. If Bumpy wanted me dead, I'd be dead. This is something else. He hangs up. The hours crawl by. Corso showers, gets dressed, can't eat, can't sit still. He keeps looking at the note. Now you understand what it means to wait. 3 days. That's how long Bumpy waited. 72 hours of silence. While Corso celebrated. While he made plans. While he thought he'd won. And the whole time Bumpy was moving. Not with guns. With ghosts. At 11:30, Corso gets in his car. Drives to Queens. Alone. Like Bumpy said. The streets feel different now. Every corner, he looks for threats. Every car behind him could be a tail. But there's nothing. Just the city. Moving. Indifferent. He arrives at the warehouse at 11:55. It's old. Industrial. Graffiti on the walls. A few broken windows. There are 2 cars parked outside. One is Bumpy's. The other is empty. Corso parks. Gets out. His legs feel like lead. He walks to the door. It's unlocked. He pushes it open. Inside, the warehouse is dim. Shafts of sunlight cut through the dust. In the center of the space, there's a table. 2 chairs. Bumpy Johnson is sitting in one of them. Alone. No guards. No guns visible. Just Bumpy. Calm. Hands folded on the table. Corso walks toward him. Slowly. Bumpy watches him. Doesn't stand. Doesn't smile. Sit, Bumpy says. Corso sits. For a long moment, they just look at each other. Then Corso speaks. His voice is hoarse. Where are they? Close, Bumpy says. They'll be here in a few minutes. Are they okay? Yes. Did you scare them? Bumpy tilts his head. Your wife was frightened at first, but I had a woman with her. Someone kind. Someone who explained that this wasn't about them. Your kids, they thought it was an adventure. My people played cards with them, fed them, kept them comfortable. Corso's hands ball into fists. You had no right. Neither did you. Silence. Bumpy leans forward slightly. You took Archie to prove a point, Bumpy says. To show Harlem I could be touched. To show your crew you were bold. And you know what? It worked. People talked. People wondered. Maybe Bumpy's slipping. Maybe he's old. Maybe it's time for new blood. Corso says nothing. But here's what you didn't understand, Bumpy continues. I didn't move because I didn't need to. You thought my silence was weakness. It wasn't. It was patience. Because I knew something you didn't. What? That the loudest move isn't always the strongest one. Corso looks down. His hands are shaking. You wanted a war, Bumpy says. But I don't do wars unless I have to. Because wars are messy. People die. Families suffer. Businesses collapse. And for what? Pride? He shakes his head. I don't work for pride. I work for control. And control means knowing when to strike and when to wait. It means taking what matters and giving it back. So the fear lasts longer than the pain. Outside, a car pulls up. Footsteps. The warehouse door opens. Angela Corso walks in first. Her eyes red. Her face pale. But unharmed. Behind her, Maria. Vincent Jr., Tommy. All of them unharmed. Corso stands so fast the chair scrapes. He rushes to them, grabs his wife. His kids. They're real. They're here. Angela's crying. So is Maria. The boys are confused, but okay. Corso holds them. His whole body shaking. Bumpy stands. Walks past them. Stops at the door. He looks back. Archie's outside, Bumpy says. In the other car. Clean. Fed. Unharmed. Corso looks up at him. Face wet. This is over, Bumpy says. You go back to the Bronx. You stay there. You don't cross into Harlem. You don't touch my people. You don't speak my name. And your family gets to stay whole. Corso nods. Can't find words. Bumpy turns to leave. then stops. And Corso? Yeah? Next time you think about making a move on a king, Bumpy says quietly, remember what it felt like to wake up alone. He walks out. The door closes. Corso holds his family and says nothing. Because there's nothing left to say. The warehouse stays quiet for a long time after Bumpy leaves. Corso holds his family. Doesn't let go. Can't let go. Angela's shaking. Maria's crying into his shoulder. The boys are silent now, sensing something they don't fully understand. Finally, Angela pulls back. Looks at her husband's face. Vincent, what happened? He can't answer. His throat's too tight. Who were those people? She asks. They came into our house. We were asleep. And then, we weren't. We were in a car. They didn't hurt us, but... Her voice breaks. Vincent, what did you do? He looks at her. His wife. 18 years. 3 children. A life built on violence he always promised would never touch them. I made a mistake, he whispers. Outside, Bumpy Johnson stands by his car. Archie Monroe is leaning against the hood. Clean suit. New shoes. Face shaved. He looks better than he did 3 days ago. You good? Bumpy asks. Archie nods. Yeah, they fed me well. Gave me a bed. Even let me call my wife. I know, I told them to. Archie looks at his friend. His brother, the man he's followed for 20 years. You knew the whole time where I was, Archie says. It's not a question. By the second day, yeah. And you waited. I waited. Archie's quiet for a moment. Then, most men would have come in shooting. Most men aren't trying to build something that lasts, Bumpy says. They're trying to prove something. To themselves. To the street. But I don't need to prove anything anymore. I just need people to remember. Remember what? Bumpy looks toward the warehouse. Toward the family, inside that still holding each other. That mercy is scarier than murder, he says, because murder ends things. But mercy leaves you alive to think about what could have happened, and that fear that lives forever. Inside, Corso finally releases his family. He wipes his face, tries to steady himself. We're going home, he says. Angela nods. Doesn't argue. The kids stay close. They walk outside together. Bumpy's car is still there. But Bumpy's not in it. He's standing 20 feet away, waiting. Archie's beside him. Corso stops. His family stops behind him. For a moment, the 2 men just look at each other. Then Archie walks forward. Slow. Calm. He stops in front of Corso. Doesn't say anything. Just looks at him. Corso opens his mouth. Wants to say something. Apologize. Explain. But Archie shakes his head, not angry. Just tired. You don't know him, Archie says quietly. You thought you did. You thought he was just another boss, just another old man holding territory. He glances back at Bumpy, but Bumpy doesn't hold territory. He is the territory, and you can't take something that's part of the ground itself. Archie walks past Corso, gets into Bumpy's car. Corso watches them, his family silent behind him. Bumpy opens the driver's door, pauses, looks across the hood at Corso. You're a smart man, Vincent, Bumpy says. Smart enough to know when a lesson's been taught. Smart enough to know when to walk away. Corso nods. Barely. The Bronx is yours, Bumpy continues. Run it well. Take care of your people. Build something. But Harlem? He shakes his head. Harlem's not for sale. Not for trade. Not for taking. It's mine. Has been for 20 years. Will be till I'm gone. And maybe even after that. He gets in the car. Starts the engine. Corso stands there, watching as Bumpy and Archie drive away. The sound of the engine fades. The street goes quiet. Angela touches his arm. Vincent, let's go home. He nods. They get in their car. All 5 of them. Cramped. Close. Together. Corso drives, his hand still shaking on the wheel. Maria speaks from the back seat, voice small. Dad, are we safe now? He looks at her in the rearview mirror. Wants to say yes. Wants to promise her. But he knows the truth. They were never unsafe. Because Bumpy never intended to hurt them. That was the whole point. Yeah, baby, Corso says. We're safe. They drive back to the Bronx in silence. When they get home, Angela takes the kids inside, tells them to go to their rooms, rest, try to forget. Corso stays in the driveway, sits in the car, engine off, just sitting. After a while, Paulie pulls up, gets out, walks over. Box? Corso doesn't look at him. It's over, Corso says. What happened? Did he? It's over, Paulie. Paulie stands there, trying to understand. We're not moving into Harlem, Corso says. We're not touching Bumpy's people. We're not saying his name. We're staying in the Bronx. We're running our business. Clean, quiet, and we're never crossing that line again. But boss, we can still. Corso finally looks at him, and whatever Paulie sees in his face makes him stop talking. You weren't there, Corso says quietly. You didn't see what I saw. You didn't feel what I felt. What did you feel? Corso looks down at his hands. Helpless, he whispers. For the first time in my life, I was completely helpless, and he let me live with it. He gave me my family back, not because he's weak, because he's strong enough not to kill. He gets out of the car, walks toward his house, stops at the door, turns back. Spread the word, Paulie. Tell every man we have. Tell every crew from here to the Bronx River. Bumpy Johnson is not to be touched, not to be challenged, not to be disrespected. He's untouchable. Paulie nods slowly. Corso goes inside, closes the door, and for the first time in 3 days, he locks it, knowing it doesn't matter, because if Bumpy Johnson wants in, no lock in the world will stop him. The story spreads like fire. Not the next day. That same night, word moves through the streets the way it always does. Barbershops, bars, after-hours clubs, policy joints. Someone knows someone who heard something. And by midnight, everyone knows. Bumpy Johnson took Vincent Corso's family, not killed them, took them, from inside his own house, while he slept, and then gave them back, unharmed. In Harlem, the reaction is immediate. The young runners who whispered doubt 3 days ago, silent now. The captains who questioned Bumpy's patience, they understand. Sam Wright sits in a bar on Lenox Avenue, a drink in front of him, untouched. Danny Price slides into the booth across from him. You here? Danny asks. Sam nods. He didn't kill anyone, Danny says. Disbelief in his voice. Didn't fire a shot. Didn't spill a drop of blood. That's the point, Sam says. I don't understand. Sam finally picks up his drink, sips it, sets it down. Killing Corso would have made Bumpy look desperate, Sam explains. Like he had to respond with violence because that's all he had. But taking his family, taking them without a sound, without a trace, and then giving them back? He shakes his head. That's power, Danny. Real power. The kind you can't fight, the kind you can't defend against. Danny sits back, thinking. Corso's got 50 men, Danny says. Good men, soldiers, he could have hit back. With what? Sam asks. His family's alive because Bumpy allowed it. His business is standing because Bumpy permitted it. Everything Corso thought he built, Bumpy just showed him it only exists because Bumpy lets it exist. Danny's quiet for a long moment. That's terrifying, he says finally. Sam smiles. Cold. Knowing. Now you're getting it. In the Bronx, Vincent Corso's world shrinks. By the next morning, 3 of his captains come to him, not to plan, not to strategize, to quit. Boss, it's not personal, one of them says. But I got a family too, and if Bumpy can walk into your house, he can walk into mine. Corso doesn't argue, doesn't try to convince them. He just nods. Go, he says. I understand. They leave. By the afternoon, 2 more are gone. Paulie stays. So do a handful of loyalists. But the crew that was 50 strong 3 days ago? It's 30 now, then 25. The fear spreads faster than loyalty. By the end of the week, Corso's territory hasn't changed on paper. He still runs the same blocks, still collects from the same bookies and numbers runners. But everyone knows the truth. He's not a king anymore. He's a tenant. And Bumpy Johnson is the landlord. In Manhattan, the old Italian bosses meet. A quiet restaurant in Little Italy. Private room. 6 men. Decades of power between them. Sal, the one who warned Corsos, sits at the head of the table. So, one of them says, "We all heard?" Nods around the table. Bumpy took Corso's family, another says. Walked into his house like a ghost. Took them, brought them back. No blood, someone adds. No war, another says. Sal leans back in his chair, lights a cigar, blows smoke toward the ceiling. Bumpy Johnson just reminded everyone why Harlem belongs to him, Sal says. Not because he's the most violent, because he's the most patient, the most precise, the most untouchable. "You think he's sending us a message?" one of the younger bosses asks. Sal looks at him, almost amused. "The message isn't for us," Sal says. "We already know. We've known for 20 years. The message is for anyone young enough, dumb enough, or ambitious enough to think they can take what's his." "And what's the message?" Sal taps ash into a tray. "You can't. Back in Harlem, life returns to normal. Or what passes for normal. The numbers run. The clubs fill. The policy wheels spin. Bumpy Johnson walks the streets like he always has. Calm, unhurried. People nod when they see him. Not out of fear, out of respect. Because respect is what you earn when you have the power to destroy and choose not to. One afternoon, Bumpy's walking down 125th Street. Archie beside him. A young kid, 16, maybe 17, approaches. Nervous, hat in his hands. "Mr. Johnson?" Bumpy stops, looks at him. "Yes, I wanted to say thank you. My uncle works for you, numbers runner, and he told me what you did, how you didn't kill anyone, how you got your man back without starting a war." Bumpy studies the kid, sees something in his eyes. Hunger, ambition, but also respect. "What's your name?" Bumpy asks. "Marcus." "You in school, Marcus?" "Yes, sir." "Good. Stay there. Learn something. And when you're done, if you still want to be in this life..." Bumpy gestures to the street around them. "Come find me. But not before." The kid nods. Grateful. Walks away. Archie watches him go. "You think he'll finish school?" Bumpy shrugs. "Maybe. Maybe not. But I gave him a reason to try. They keep walking." "You ever think about getting out?" Archie asks. "You've been at this for 25 years, Bump. You've made your money. Built your name. You could retire, move somewhere quiet." Bumpy's quiet for a moment. "And do what?" he asks. "Fish. Play golf. Some men would. I'm not some men." Archie smiles. "No, you're not." They walk in silence for a block. Then Archie speaks again. "You know Corso's crew is falling apart, right? Half his men are gone. The other half are looking over their shoulders." "I know. You gonna let him keep operating?" Bumpy nods. "As long as he stays in his lane. He learned his lesson, and a man who learns is more useful alive than dead." "You believe that?" "I believe fear is a better teacher than a grave." That night Bumpy sits in his apartment. Same chair, same window, same view of Harlem stretching out before him. Mamie brings him tea, sets it on the table beside him. "You did good," she says quietly. He looks up at her. "You think so? You got Archie back, and you made your point, and nobody died. That's rare in this business." Bumpy picks up the tea, sips it. Warm, sweet. "I'm getting old, May." She sits beside him, takes his hand. "We both are. I wonder sometimes how much longer I can do this. Until you don't want to anymore," she says. "Or until Harlem doesn't need you. Whichever comes first." He smiles. Faint. Tired. "Harlem will always need someone," he says. "The question is whether it'll be someone who cares or someone who just takes." "Then stay as long as you can," Mame says, "and teach the ones coming up behind you how to care." Across town, Vincent Corso sits in his study. Alone. His family's asleep upstairs. Safe. Together. But he can't sleep. Every time he closes his eyes, he sees that empty kitchen, that note on the table. Now you understand what it means to wait. He'll never forget those words. Never forget the feeling of waking up to silence. Never forget that Bumpy Johnson could have killed him. Could have killed his family. And chose not to. That's the part that haunts him most. not the fear, the mercy. Because mercy from a man like Bumpy Johnson isn't kindness, it's dominance. It's a reminder that your life continues because he allows it to, and that's a weight Corso will carry for the rest of his days. The weeks pass, then months. Vincent Corso never crosses into Harlem again, never speaks Bumpy's name in anything but reverence, never makes another move toward expansion. He runs his piece of the Bronx, takes care of his family, lives quietly. And every morning, when he wakes up and his wife is beside him and his kids are in their rooms, he feels something close to gratitude, not to God, to Bumpy Johnson, for letting him keep what matters. In Harlem, Bumpy's legend grows, not because of what he did, because of what he didn't do. The young runners tell the story to newer runners. The captains tell it to their crews, the old-timers tell it in barbershops and bars. How Bumpy Johnson was challenged, how his partner was taken, how everyone expected war, and how Bumpy responded not with bullets, but with silence, how he took what mattered most and gave it back, how he proved that the deadliest weapon isn't a gun, it's patience, it's control, it's the ability to destroy, and the wisdom not to. Years later, a young journalist comes to Harlem, writing a book about organized crime in New York. He sits down with an old policy banker who worked for Bumpy in the 50s. "Tell me about Bumpy Johnson," the journalist says. The old man smiles, lights a cigarette. "What do you want to know? Was he violent? When he needed to be? Was he feared? By those who deserved to fear him? What made him different from all the other bosses?" The old man thinks about it. Long drag on his cigarette. "Most men in this life," he says finally, "they prove their power by taking, by destroying, by making examples. And Bumpy proved his power by showing restraint, by taking something precious and giving it back, by making you realize that your whole world exists in the palm of his hand. And he could close that hand any time he wants." The journalist writes it down, then looks up. "That sounds like more than fear." The old man nods. "It is. It's respect. And respect lasts longer than fear. Fear fades when the threat's gone. But respect," he taps his chest, "respect lives here forever." Bumpy Johnson ran Harlem for another 15 years after that day in 1950. He survived wars, survived betrayals, survived the changing times, and when he finally passed in 1968, Harlem mourned him like a king. Because that's what he was, not because of how many people he killed, but because of how many he didn't have to. The story of Vincent Corso and his family became a legend in the streets, a cautionary tale, a teaching moment, a reminder. You don't challenge Bumpy Johnson, not because you'll die, but because you'll live, and you'll spend every day after that knowing you were allowed to. And that's a fate worse than any bullet.